Hello, Revere, and welcome to our Revere TV8 and Veterans Community Show. Today I have two special guests, two beautiful ladies, Joyce DiNuccio and Stacey Rizzo, who'll be talking about Crime Watch. And Stacey, start off by telling the people how the neighborhood can start a Crime Watch.
Well, we were fortunate. There's two young ladies in Beachmont that originally started this a few years ago. And Joyce and myself had randomly gone to some of their meetings. And then the mayor, along with the police department, started going to each ward, trying to get people included and to start off, section off, ward by ward, their own crime watch. So Joyce and I had attended one meeting with Lenny Salvati, and, you know, we might not do everything perfect right out of the off the bat, but it's a learning experience, and we said, let's try it. What can you do? You can't go wrong. So we got together. We used the Revere substation down on Pleasant Street, and we have probably a good half a dozen committed people so far. So, you know, it's a little at a time, but you know what? We just need to get the information out there. We are Ward 4 citizens, which goes from, it can go from Ridge Road all the way to the other side, which would be Oakland, Lincoln Street, a little bit down near School Street on one side of the street. So it's a large ward, and we don't want to be forgotten, and we want to get out, meet our neighbors. That's the good part. You get to meet your neighbors.
Right, and you get to know the people that live in the neighborhood.
Absolutely. Right. And you look out for your neighbors. And I think sometimes when you get to be a big city, you lose that neighborly feel, and you don't get to meet anyone in your area anymore. At one time, you knew everyone. You knew their family. And right now, it changes so fast that we don't do that anymore. So we're getting back to good old-fashioned, looking out for your neighbor type thing.
Go ahead, Joyce. What could you...
Well, we had, so far, I think we've had 2 or 3 meetings. And we've had them at the Revere Police Substation, like Stacey said, on Pleasant Street. And we've had 8 to 10 people come in, and that is pretty much our base, and then we'll go from there and expand. And we figured by forming small committee of neighbors, we can discuss the needs of the neighborhoods and find out, you know, what is going on and what their needs are. Explain to them, you know, what has been going on in our neighborhoods. Example, Stacey happened to have this little button. I remember this from one of our first meetings we went to, and this was discussed at the neighborhood meeting with the girls from Beachmont.
Beachmont gave me
That's
this tip.
the one that gives you a little alarm that when you turn it on.
It is awesome.
Give us a test on it.
Oh,
Just
you can
flip.
probably do it.
I think there's a little switch there. Yeah. Yep. See that?
Explain how you use this.
Well, when I saw it from the Beachmont ladies, I had picked up I have a few senior citizens in my area, and some of their windows are ground level. So I picked up a few there for them, and I put them on their windows and stuff, and now they make me come change the batteries too. But, and then I started carrying it when I walk the dog at night, so that if you don't trust someone else walking, you know, they might not mean any harm whatsoever, but why take the chance? I can just flick it, and if they are up to something, they're going to leave. I also used it when I had a raccoon one time walking, and I put it on and the raccoon left. So very multi-talented, this little button.
And they're very inexpensive.
$1.
You buy them at the
Dollar Tree. Yep.
Dollar Tree.
So, I mean, it comes in handy, and, you know, you might not take everything away from these meetings, but even if you take one little thing, a dollar item away, it can mean a world of good.
Stacey, I have to tell you something. I'm not going to mention the street where I live on it, but I do live in Revere. We had a terrific crime and drug problem. We started a crime watch thanks to Officer John Chan, Carl Borgioli, and I believe Lenny Salvetti is the other officer.
Yeah, he's always included.
Yep. To those 3, they started as a crime watch, and what they taught us was this: don't get involved with the criminals.
No.
Number 1, if you see a lot of traffic cars that go there are 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and they take off. But a lot of different cars, get the plate number. That's all you do. Don't
Absolutely.
front them and do it. Let us know. We also had a family, and I will not mention their names, that lived on Standish Road. They had a couple of good boys, but they got into drugs. One of them shot someone. The other one took an overdose and thing. So that was something that we put an end to. But I don't mean we. I mean the people that lived on the street got together, and they did put an end to it.
Yeah.
So Crime Watch does cut down on crime.
Right.
You made a good point, Morris, as far as we are not the police. We are just a help and assistance to them.
We are the eyes of the police.
We are the eyes. We are the ones that can
Exactly.
give them the information. At no
Right.
time should we be the police. And Joyce and I also did the, what was the Citizen Academy at the police station,
Right.
The Revere Police Citizens Academy.
which gave us a multitude of insights of what they go through and stuff, and we don't want to be the police.
No.
Stacey, can I ask you a question? I'm not familiar with it, but there usually used to be a lot of substations. There was one down on Winthrop Avenue as you went down, going down toward the beach.
Right.
Beachmont.
Yeah,
Not, is it Beachmont?
it was Beachmont.
Yeah, across the
Winthrop-
street
it was-
from housing.
Where the little park
Julia
was.
Ward House.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Julia Ward House School.
Is there still a lot of substations around, or do they just...
I don't believe so. But I think,
I think those were all done on grants.
yeah.
Oh, I see.
The grants. ran out.
Unfortunately, it's nice that they have the substation over here where
On Pleasant Street,
Broadway
right,
is
yep.
such a busy area. I think it might deter some of the crimes too.
Yep.
Because the police will come in at any given moment to use the station, whether it's to fill out reports, make phone calls, do whatever they have to. So there's always people coming and going. I know I didn't feel that safe when the police station was put over
On Winthrop Park.
on Winthrop Parkway, seeing that I live on the Everett line. But I think that helps a lot. It gives a presence.
It does.
Definitely. You know what I would like to have you people talk about? Not only, I'm a senior, by the way, but not only about senior crime. This booklet that was put out by Sheriff Tompkins.
Right.
And on the back here, there's a whole bunch of numbers, and you could have them, you know.
Right.
Joyce, she started off. You start off this one. Tell them what to call, where to call in case they need help.
Okay. Well, on the back side here, we have the Revere Elderly Affairs phone number. It's 781-286-8155. And, of course, we have the Fire Department, 781-284-0014. And the Revere Police Department, which is 781-284-1212.
And there's one more on the bottom, Joyce.
And the Mass Attorney General's office, that is 617-727-2200. And these are all your important numbers. And we also, in our Crime Watch, we also have a great listing of phone numbers and contacts. So
Could
if
you tell us
anyone
about
out
them?
there would like it, well, I don't have it with me, but it is
Oh, okay.
a listing of,
It will eventually be
Anywhere
put on
from-
the air anyway.
yes, it will be. It
Good.
will be, but it's any phone number that you have ever wanted or needed, and it will be on here. Speaking about senior,
You know what I like?
Safety.
Yeah, but hold on. You know what I like? You talking about phone numbers. Explain to the people sometimes when people call up on the phone, whether they're seniors or not seniors. You know, I mean, you know, crime is crime. It doesn't have to be old or new. But tell them about some of the scams that come over the phone.
Oh, dear.
well, a lot of times people will call and you have phone numbers. I think the greatest invention that has come out is caller ID.
I agree on that.
I want to say it probably costs $1.25 a month extra on your telephone bill, but I think it is so well worth it because you know exactly who's calling. And if someone should call and it says private caller or
Unlisted.
unlisted,
Unknown. Or even no name, not available, for example.
unavailable, right, then just remember if you do answer it, just do not give out any personal information.
Right, like
at
your
all.
social security number. Your last, sometimes they won't ask you for the whole social security number. What are your last four?
That's right.
Right.
And sometimes I know when they call my house, they'll say, is Joyce DiNuccio there? I'll say, no, I'm sorry. If I don't recognize the number, I'll say, no, I'm the house cleaner. So whatever, you know, this way I just get some information from them. Can I have them call you back? And 9 times out of 10, they will not call back again.
At least they know someone's there, too.
Yes.
In case
and the other thing is, when on your answering machine, don't ever leave the message that I am not home, sorry, I'm out for the day. You can tell them you're hanging clothes. You know, I have a friend up in New Hampshire, and when you call her, she says, hello, this is Seal. Right now I'm outside hanging clothes. Leave your number and I'll call you right back.
Right.
And I think that's great. Just do not say that the house is empty.
Or you can say instead, if you want to, I'm not available right now.
Or I'm not
Yeah.
available. That's
Right.
right. Oh, I think it comes on with the machine too,
Oh, does
if you'd
it?
like.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. By the way,
But talk about senior safety. I know that Morris had mentioned this before too. My mother was a victim of someone coming into her house. My mother was 93, living alone on a main street, and loved to sit in her yard all day. And she would do her housework in the morning and go outside on a day like today, just sit in her yard with her chair. And some gentleman came into the yard. She never had seen him before, didn't recognize him. And of course, you have to understand where these people came from. The generation of my parents was you trust everybody because everybody is honest.
Joyce, before you continue, I got to tell you, I'm originally from New York. I've lived in Revere 66 years. I've been married 65. When I first came to Revere 19 years ago, I was 19. I mean, when I was 19, we used to go down the beach. We would leave the windows open, the door open, the dog in the yard locked in. Not today.
Same thing. Well, same thing happened. Well, what happened was this gentleman came every day and familiarized himself with my mother. And the first line he said to her when he first saw her was, oh, gee, it looks like your house, you need some work done. And she said, no, she said, my son-in-law, they both will take care of it. And he said, well, I can do it really cheap. He says, I'll do it for $100.
Yeah.
And she said, no, that's okay, that's okay. So she said, what are you doing here? He said, well, I'm working on the house next door to you. And her house, she couldn't see the house next door to her because her house blocked it. So she said, well, that's good. She said, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm putting on a new door. So we leave it, and he leaves. And the next day he comes by, and he says hello too. And he familiarized himself with her for about 3 weeks. Well, 3 weeks later comes, and he comes up the yard again, and he said, how you doing? And she said, good. And he said, listen, he said, I need some money. Do you have a few dollars I could borrow? So thank God, I always tell my mother, don't bring your pocketbook out with you. I said, put the money, if you have any money, put it in your pocket. So she pulled out of her pocket a $20 bill. She had other money in there, but the $20 bill, of course, came out. So she gave it to him, and he said, well, thank you so much. He said, I will pay you back. She didn't want to say, no, that's okay, because if she did, she knew he would come back to get more money. So she said, all right, and he left. About 3 weeks later, she was in the house alone, and unfortunately, I was away, and her doorbell rang, and she has an inside door and an outside door that she kept locked. And she went near the door, and it was him. And he said, hi. He said, I have your money. I want to return it to you. And he had his money folded so that she could not see what denomination it was. So she opened the door, and when she opened it, he opened the bill, and it was a $100 bill. He said, but I only have a $100 bill with me. Do you have change? And she said, yes, wait here. And again, she's 96, trusting. She went inside into her bedroom to get the money. She didn't hear him. He followed her in the bedroom. She didn't pick up her purse, but she picked up a pouch. And in her pouch, she had just received her Social Security money. And she picked it up, and when she did, he pulled it out of her hand and ran. Fortunately, he didn't hurt her or harm her. And oh my God, she was just so frightened. And a couple of days before that, I had said to her, don't you open this door for anyone. I don't care who it is, which was probably the worst thing I could have said, because she wouldn't tell me. She didn't tell anybody for 2 hours. And my sister ended up going down there, just checking on her, and found out. And this is a long story, but I called my next door neighbor up, and I said, you know that gentleman you had working for you? I said, and I explained what happened, and she said, oh, that's not the me. And she said, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Oh, they knew who
They knew who he was. And through the police, good detective work, they found out, Detective Tommy Malone and a few other guys, they found out who this gentleman was. And my mother we had to take my mother to court. She had to put out a warrant for this man's arrest because, of course, he didn't show up. And but last I heard from Detective Malone that this gentleman is still at work up in Lawrence, doing the same thing. So, just as a little message to you senior citizens, please keep your doors locked. Don't answer them. Call the police if you see anything suspicious in your neighborhoods. Call the police, or like Maura said, take down their plate numbers or something in particular. The police will come right away. The police don't know. We have to notify them that these things are going on in our neighborhood. And I think I spoke too much.
No, I think you did an excellent job. Can I just add a little bit to that, Joyce, if I may? Beside that scam, at least your mother knew the man. But let's say you're an elderly woman or even a young lady or a young man, and somebody comes on your door and knocks on it and says, my car is broken down, can I use your phone? Very simple. Don't let him in the house.
No,
let him give you the number. You will make the call for him, but never let him in your house, because a lot of people have gotten killed. Not robbed, killed, murdered, because they've let a stranger into their house in there. By the way, we have something here from Sheriff Tompkins. If we could just start with each one of you reading something down.
You know what's really important in Sheriff Tompkins' thing is Social Security checks. And a lot of the seniors don't know that it can be deposited.
Right.
Direct deposit. Well, because a lot of people will wait, some of those crime watchers will wait and know when the checks are coming out and follow them to the bank.
Not only that, Stacey,
direct deposit.
A lot of them know when the checks are coming out, and I got to tell you something, not only checks, but bundles and packages. We've had that happen.
Oh, absolutely.
They follow the mailman.
Yeah.
They follow the mailman, and they know the checks are coming out the 1st or the 3rd of the month that are dropped in your mailbox, and they do it. Here's another thing for the people that have neighbors that go away, and this is something I learned too from the police. If you have a neighbor that's on vacation, if he doesn't have a mailbox where the mail goes into the house, pick up the mail for him. If there's newspapers on the porch, pick up the newspapers.
Exactly.
Throw garbage in his bucket, because that looks like someone is living there or is home there. Because they go around and they check, and if you put out a bucket, even if you have to put out a bucket for your friend, put out something, throw some garbage in there on pickup day. Because they watch those things. They see, well, no bucket, mail laying on the porch, newspapers, the guy ain't home. Come nighttime, somebody else is home.
Even an automatic timer for the lights in your house.
Perfect.
Have one downstairs that might go on at 7 o'clock, one upstairs in the bedrooms that might go on at 9. Just, you want to make sure it's constantly appearing to be used.
Right, for the elderly, I have to say this too, because sometimes a dog is a very, very good thing, because they let you know that there's a stranger out in the yard too. See, a lot of people don't hear too well, especially if they're old. But the dog lets them know there's someone there or someone going by. Also, they could have motion detectors, like lights that go on outside if someone walks by at night.
We just installed one in my neighbors. I have 2 elderly across the street, 2 single women. And so my husband had just put a motion, and they're cheap, really cheap.
Stacey, I got to mention something. I spoke to Joyce before we went on the air. This happened to me about a year ago. Guy knocks on my door. He's got the badge, you know, the ID on there, which doesn't mean a thing to me anymore. He says, I'm from the gas company. We'd like to come in and check your meter. 2 of them, okay, but one was downstairs, but the guy knocking on the door. I happened to look out. I see no gas truck. So I says, where's your gas truck? Because usually when they come around to do with the tools, they have the truck with them. He says, my truck is around the corner. We were working there. I says, okay, bring your truck here and I'll check it out. I never saw them again. I never saw them again.
Always second guess
is
them,
always.
and if they're up to rotten things, they'll leave if you second guess them.
Always.
Yep. And if you are suspicious, even now, I know this may sound strange. Sometimes thieves will dress up even as a police officer to try to get into your house.
Absolutely.
So if you're not sure, call your local police department. Ask them, did you send down Captain ABC or Officer ABC? And if they say no, see if you can keep them talking, because you tell them you got one that's out there.
That's right. That's right.
You know what, too? Another small thing that we had learned from the Beachmont girls is putting numbers. We have our address numbers on the front.
Yep,
but also put them on the back of your homes, because if someone lives on the next street over and they might see someone breaking into the back of your home, which would be the normal place that they would go.
Right.
They can call the police and they say, well, I'm on Rand and this is on Mountain. Well, what number? I don't know. It might be a yellow house, white house. But if the numbers are right there, and it's only like 69 cents a number at Home Depot. So, I mean, for $2,
These are just some of the things that you can do.
Another good thing that I don't think it's mentioned in here, but I know it's summertime and shrubs grow and trees grow. Keep them below the window level.
Keep them low.
Yeah, because you want the window open, but you have to be careful.
They can hide behind him. You know, if it's tall out.
Absolutely.
Right.
Also, another thing, too, is make sure you lock your cars, especially when you go in at night. I know a few people, you know, especially with kids. Kids don't realize how important it is. They come in, they take the parents, it's not their car, what do they care? So they take the parents' car, they come home at night, they leave the doors unlocked. Well, these burglars, or these people, they go around checking.
Yeah,
and if
these
they see a
thieves, I call them.
Yeah, if they see a car door open, well, they're going to, and I don't care. I mean, one girl lost a bracelet. There was a change that amounted to like $15 or $20. So they're going to take that.
You know, and we're not going to stop crime.
Oh, no.
Crime
But you're
going to
reduce
continue,
it.
But you want to prevent it and make it harder for everyone.
Most of the crime that Joyce happened to mention about the cars, especially if you leave bundles and it's around Christmas time when the people go shopping and they leave those bundles in the car. But if the car has an alarm and a thief sees the light flashing now, they'll think twice. Now, before they came out with the fancy alarm, they had the crossbar. Remember the bar that you locked the wheel so you couldn't turn it?
Oh, my God.
That didn't prevent the crime at all.
No.
They broke the wheel. They just broke the wheel off.
It
was a little deterrent, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joyce. Something else about it?
No, just get to know your neighbors. And one of the good ways about doing this is inviting them into a Crime Watch meeting. Asking, I know today, you know, years ago when we were children, our parents were home all the time. So, you know, we didn't have, we knew everybody. But now everybody is working, you know. But we've had quite a few people that we never expected to join this group.
They did.
Come in and say, yes, I want to be a part of it, you know.
You know, and we're not trying to, yes, our main goal is Crime Watch and everything, but we want to make it more like a neighborhood team so that maybe we do a little of this, we do a little of making Revere more beautiful or more useful.
Our neighborhood.
Our neighborhood, so that maybe we'll have an urban trail like some of the other wards. Or, you know, Ward 4 is like like in the middle. People think of Beachmont, people think of West Revere, Ward 6. And then Ward 4, they'll say, where is it? Well, you know what? We're going to try to bring the positives of Ward 4 out.
Stacey, Joyce, we got 3 minutes left, so each one of us is going to take a minute. So, Joyce, take a minute.
Okay. I just would like to tell everybody, we'd like to hear from everybody. Give us a call. Come and help us with our Crime Watch. I know we are planning an outing in front of the American Legion building at some point, where we'd like to gather up as many people as we can. Just tell us what you're thinking about. Tell us what you'd like the neighborhood to look like, or give us some tips.
Ooh, Joyce, can I make a suggestion too?
Absolutely.
Put up a suggestion box in front of you when you have that thing, you know, when
Absolutely.
and have people drop it in writing. They don't
We
have
will-
to sign their
Perfect.
name,
You
just
don't
an
have to-
idea.
Perfect.
Absolutely, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And Stacey?
Stacey?
Well, you know, we've talked about breaking in houses, robbing cars, but there is so much more in crime nowadays. We're 2014, so, I mean, crime is in bullying. It is in cyberbullying, which is a big thing that they get seniors and students
Here's the
on.
one that they get in for the senior, Stacey. Beware of promises that include terms.
Absolutely.
Get rich quick,
Yeah.
or once in a lifetime opportunity or something similar. And if they tell you, you got to sign now or you got to give us your number now.
Yeah, see you later.
But arrivederci.
Yep.
Or la vida's
Yeah, absolutely.
that's
I
right.
mean, Halloween Halloween comes once a year. There's Halloween safety. There is mortgage fraud, hate crimes. There's school safety crimes. We have so many different crimes, and I hate to put a label on everything, but that's the world that we're in now, and all we can do is try. And, you know, again, we're not going to be perfect. We're just trying to get the information out there. We also have a Facebook site that is on Facebook. It's Ward 4 Crime Watch and Neighborhood Team. We try to keep things up to date as much as possible. I have been not too good at that lately, but I
We'll forgive you.
promise today I will start. This will be the day one. And we'll put flyers like this up, informational pieces, when we're meeting, what might be going on in the city. So if you have a chance, look into that. Also, at any given time, you can email Joyce at jdinuccio@revere.org, or myself, S. Rizzo at, where am I?
Right
at
here.
c21northshore.com.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Oh my gosh,
From the
I can
Revere
add this
veterans
to my
our
collection.
from the Revere veterans to the community veterans.
And
God bless you both for
Morris,
coming.
thank you
And
so
we
much.
will wave it proudly.
God
very
bless you
proud.
both for coming, Joyce and Stacey.
Morris, thank you for everything.
Right?
It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you, Revere, to the people of Revere, our soldiers overseas, but most of all, thank you to our
Absolutely.
great country, the United States of America, and God bless us all. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.